Listen closely, dear listeners of the Digital Town Crier, for this is not just a story about space. It is a story about distance traveled against gravity far heavier than Earth's pull. In the year 2026, a man named Victor Glover will rise beyond the sky, not just into orbit, but into history itself. As part of the Artemis 2 mission, he will become the first black astronaut to journey around the moon. But understand this, his flight is not a beginning. It is a continuation, a relay race across generations. The torch was first carried into the cosmos by Guyon Bluford Jr. in 1983. When he broke through Earth's atmosphere, he did more than enter space. He shattered a ceiling that had long been sealed shut. Behind him followed dreamers who now had proof that the sky was no longer the limit. One of those dreamers was Mae Jemison, who in 1992 carried not only scientific instruments aboard the shuttle, but the hopes of every black girl who had ever looked up at the stars and wondered, could I belong there too? Then came Bernard Harris Jr., who stepped outside the spacecraft in 1995, floating in the silence of space, tethered not just by a cord, but by courage. And we remember Ronald McNair, whose brilliance lit the way, even though his journey was cut short in the tragedy of the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. His story reminds us that exploration is never without sacrifice. There were others, pilots, commanders, leaders, like Frederick D. Gregory, who took the helm, Charles F. Bolden Jr., who would later guide NASA itself, and Stephanie D. Wilson, whose steady presence carried missions forward again and again. And let us not forget Ed Dwight, a man who was denied the stars in 1962, only to finally touch them in 2024. Sometimes history delays, but it does not forget. This, dear listeners, is what progress looks like. Not a straight line, but a constellation. Each name a star, each mission a light, each sacrifice a lesson written across the night sky. So when Victor Glover circles the moon, he will not be alone. He will carry Bluford's courage, Jemison's brilliance, Harris's boldness, McNair's spirit, and the dreams of countless others who dare to imagine themselves beyond gravity. And somewhere, perhaps in a quiet neighborhood, a child will look up at that same moon and whisper, "There is room for me out there too." Thank you for listening. You can find us on Facebook for many more emerging stories. Grant thy favor, subscribe, comment, and return for the next tidings of the realm.